Walker from the Yoga Ranger Studio, and today's Instant Zen, we're going to focus on the feet, ankles, shins, and calves for relief for all of you who stand a lot in your job, walk a lot, or you just have a lot of tension built up in those calf muscles, shins, ankles, and feet. So some feet relief for you. A couple of things you might need: a block or a couple of thick books, large books. I think of coffee table books when I think of that. And either a couple of tennis balls or some tune-up balls. And I'll put the link to these below. These are a little bit grippy. They have kind of a stick to them. We're going to use them in the bag and out. So we would start with taking them out of the bag first, putting that block off to the side. We're going to start with our feet standing. So I always like to have a wall nearby when I do this because stability is always an issue. You're going to take your heel onto the ball, your foot, front of your foot, as if you're wearing a high heel shoe. And I know for all you men out there, this is something you do all the time, right? So press your foot into the floor, your heel into that ball, and put all your weight on there. And then you're going to kind of start to scrub side to side. Just about 5 times. And then you're going to move that ball a little bit closer to the inside of the arch, so between the heel and the arch. Put all your weight on it, scrub side to side. Just 5 times back and forth. Just kind of scrubbing those things sideways. Moving in a little bit closer. Now you're going to change your point of view here. You're going to take the heel on the floor, the toes, so right below the toes, and you're going to put your weight on it and scrub side to side, right below the toes. And I know for a lot of people this may be very painful, and I admit that it has been very painful for me to do my feet a lot. But, hello PJ. A visit from the cat no one ever sees. This is the other cat. Then you're going to take it right into your toes, grab your toes onto the ball, and squeeze with your toes. This is why you never see him, because he talks a lot. He's like my son. Then we're going to do some back and forth. So you have 3 ligaments running the inside. You have one running the inside, hi. One down the middle, and one on the outside. You're going to rub all 3 of those. Go inside, so tilt your foot in a little bit, straight across the middle, and then down the outside. Just a couple more times, back and forth. You're not going to put all your weight here, just softly weight. Hi, hi, hi. And then we're going to do some little circles in the center. Go back and forth. Clockwise, counterclockwise. And change sides. Heel. Now if you don't have a wall, you can always use a chair for this, or a cat if he's steady. All your weight on that heel. And then you're going to scrub side to side. So you can shift your weight a little bit more forward, so you don't have to be standing upright completely. 5 times back and forth. He's very insistent. Inside the heel just a little bit toward the arch. All your weight on it, scrub back and forth. He thinks I'm going to turn my heater on, and I'm not. So you can stand in front of it and absorb all the heat. I've determined that's what cats are desirous of when they're looking at a fireplace. You're going to shift it so that the heel's on the floor, the foot is on the ball. Put all your weight on the front of that foot, and then scrub back and forth. And people wonder why I never invite him into practices. He's so loud. He's not a silent cat. And then go ahead and put it right in the toes. You're going to grab onto it with your toes and just hang on, take a couple of breaths. And then we're going to look at that arch. So you're going to run it to the inside of the arch by tilting your foot in, down the middle. Ooh, that really hurts. Outside edge. You going to help me? Back on the outside edge, down the middle to the inside edge. Put a little bit more weight on it, just one more time. Yeah. And then go down to the middle, and you're going to circle around in your arch. Clockwise, counterclockwise. and then come down to the floor. Okay, you're gonna take both of those tennis balls either into a sock or into your tune-up balls into your little bag here. Just put one of them in there. We'll start with that. We're gonna do our ankles here. So I find that sitting on a block for this is probably the easiest way to do it, or on a book, because you can put a little bit more pressure in there. You're gonna take that ball and you're gonna put it in this outside pocket of your ankle. So right below that bony area. Hey, buddy. And you're gonna take your weight and kind of press it into that. And you're just gonna roll little tiny rolls. Press your toes down, press your hand into it, press into that space. I know this is not gonna be terribly comfortable, but bear with me here. And then lift off that, you're gonna change sides. Same little pocket on the other leg, on the other foot. Find that little space. Kind of roll and rub it around a little bit. This side is not as compliant, I can tell. Point and flex your toes a couple of times. That kind of changes the position of it. And then you take your toes to the floor. You're going to push your weight into it and hold that ball in space. You kind of a pinch and clamp there. One more deep breath. All your weight into that. And then lift off. Take that second ball into your soccer bag, tie it off. Get on the shins. So this is where your block comes in handy. You're going to put it lengthwise, balls right in the middle. Take your leg about halfway, kind of get the meat of that shin muscle in the middle, and you're going to roll back and forth. So put your weight on there. So you can put your hands on the floor and really put your weight down. Take a tiny space because we're going to shift it. Come all the way up toward the bottom of your knee. Hang out here. This is a really sore spot for me, so I'm going to point and flex my toes a couple of times where I find a really sore spot. Roll down to the next section, point and flex. Move to the next section a little bit, point and flex. You can definitely feel that. Roll a little bit higher, point and flex. I'm putting a lot of weight on this. You can kind of adjust how much weight you put on there based on what you need. We're going to change and move that down a little bit lower so that we grip onto another section of that calf muscle, the shin muscle itself. So lean your weight into it. You're going to roll back and forth. Get a little bit closer to the ankle. Hi, buddy. He likes it when I'm closer to the floor. He doesn't yell as much. Going to get to that point, point and flex. Roll down a little bit lower, point and flex. Down a little bit lower, point and flex. And then we're going to move that down a little bit lower so it's right where the ankle is. So I'm going to take my knee down to the floor. I'm going to cross ankles on top of that, get a little bit more pressure right where the ankle meets the leg. Now, if you are really into a lot of pressure, you can lift your knees off the floor. I do not find that particularly comfortable. Take it off, and we're going to switch sides. Start back again here in the middle. Start about midway, kind of where the biggest part of your calf and shin are. And then just roll up and down. Try to get closer to that knee. I think I'm on a little too high. I think you'll find, and I find this to be true, that I thought my shin was not so sore. My shin is a lot more sore than I think it is. There's a lot of tension buildup in that shin. Take it up just a little bit higher. So I'm going to take it up toward the knee, right where the knee meets the leg, put my weight on it, point and flex the toes. Move it down a little bit lower. Ooh, found a sore spot. Point and flex the toes. When you find those sore spots, just take some really deep breaths. If it's too much, you can move above or below the spot and roll out that area. Sometimes doing that will help release the tension above and below it. One more spot, point and flex. Then we're going to move that block or book down a little bit lower, a little bit closer to the ankle. So you're going to roll down toward the ankle, put a little weight in it. You can shift your weight as heavy as you want it to be. You can even take that opposite knee off the floor. That's a lot more weight, but you kind of judge what you need here. Then we're going to start at that top point, point and flex. Move down a little bit, point and flex. Move down a little bit, point and flex. Moving that way down to right above the ankle. Right where the ankle is and where they meet, knee down to the floor if you want to. Cross the opposite leg over. Lots of weight there. Take some nice deep breaths. Never hold your breath in rolling out. Makes more tension exist. Step yourself off. And we're going to switch some things around. We're going to lay on our back and work on our calves. So come all the way onto your back. Oh, you're back again. Really? Okay. We're going to start down low, closer to the ankle. Lay all the way down. Cat as a pillow if you need to. Take yourself completely straight so that you can stack right leg on top of left. So we're going to start with left. If you started with right, you're going to cross the opposite leg over. You're just going to hang out here, maybe point and flex the toes. Hey, hey. Hey, what's up, buddy? And then you're just going to pull that leg to you just a little bit. Just bending the knees and a little soft scrubbing action on the bottom, right above the ankle. You can even rock your foot side to side, get more pressure on the left and right, so the inner and outer part of your calf muscle. Then we're going to go ahead and shift ourselves down a little bit lower. Take that kind of meaty part of your calf muscle, cross it. Now this is where it might hurt for those of you with a lot of tension in your calf muscle. I call them strong calf muscles, not tense calf muscles. They're very strong. Hello. So if any of you are watching and you notice that PJ has a clipped ear, he is from a previous 80 colony feral cat colony in North Seattle. That's why he's so very friendly. He thinks everybody is another cat. He's also very vocal, which is very typical of this breed. You'll notice Lucy talks a lot too. Tuxedo cats are known for being very chatty. So now start to bend that knee, pull that leg in. You can point and flex the toes here. I can feel my muscles shift when I do that. Kind of almost like a clicking noise. Rock the leg side to side, get the inside and outside. Uncross, shift down a little bit further. Oh, my ball is taken off here. Go up a little bit above that meaty part, cross your legs, hang out here for a breath or two. And then go and point and flex your toes. So I have very, very strong, tight calf muscles. So anything tends to affect them. If you're someone who thinks it's your hamstrings that are very tight, it might be a combination of hamstrings and calves. It might be your calves. So when you bend over to touch your toes, pay attention to what things might be pulling. So if you feel some pulling in your ankle and behind your knee toward the bottom of your leg, you might be having calf muscles issues there. So here we're just going to rock side to side. Ooh. And then we're going to stop. That feels so good to stop too. So inch your way back up Take right above the ankle. Again, cross the legs. Make your head leg super heavy on that. Excuse me. Point and flex your toes. And go and pull that heel towards you a little bit. Little tiny massage here, up and down. And then a little bit of cross fiber, rocking side to side. Just let those toes kind of shift left to right. Uncross, inch your way down. Come to sort of the meaty part of your calf muscle, that sort of wider part. Cross over. Take a couple of breaths here to settle in. Find that. So you're going to kind of slip that calf muscle in between the two balls side by side. Point and flex the toes. I definitely feel that when I do it. Rock side to side. Now I know a lot of these sensations are not good feeling ones, but they feel so much better when you're done and you are so much more mobile. Go ahead and bend the knees, pull that in, and just massage the calf muscle. And our last spot. Uncross, come down a little bit lower, right above that kind of meaty spot, right at the top edge of it. Cross your legs. Let it hang out there. Put a lot of weight. Make it kind of heavy. Point and flex your toes. Now, each side of your body is very different depending on how you walk, how you stand, your basic body dynamics. Let's say you carry something heavier on one side all the time, then you're going to have a slightly different gait, and it's going to affect your calves and your IT band, hamstrings, legs. Go ahead and start to kind of massage that out, bending knee and bringing it in just a little bit. And then rock side to side. Unwind. Come all the way up. So you're going to take those two balls, you're just going to rub them over your knee just a little bit, above and below the knee. Put a little pressure there just to massage the area around the knee, top and bottom. Kind of finish out this area. Circle your ankles a couple of times. And you are all done. I hope you enjoyed this practice. If you like these, please like and comment down below, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I upload 2 new videos every single week, Sundays and Thursdays. Join me for those. Lots of things like this, as well as yin, restorative, slow flow yoga, myofascial release, meditation, a little bit of everything for a holistic yoga experience. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.